Hello everybody. Welcome back to the stream. No Friday stream because people got off early, so I went and did that. And but we're back today to continue working on things. So I've got the editor already open. We were in the middle of balancing stage 1. And so I think I'll go back to that, see if I can get that done. I'll show you guys our little scripts real quick too at the end of the day of how we push stuff up to Steam. And that will get us closer to being able to launch the playtest. So just as a reminder, I guess we don't want to go into the test map. Grasslands. So as a reminder, we kind of created 2 new enemies and moved the raccoons to being the first enemy, and we were trying to figure out just about how many that we needed to spawn and how strong they needed to be to fit well. And then we're going to need to make the second kind of group of waves be the rats, I think, and then the third wave be correct. So correctly be the dog skulls and the wolf boss. So what's the best way for that? Let's get the assets open. DT wave grasslands. And we're gonna need enemy balance props for sure. And what else are we gonna need? Probably nothing else, to be honest. That should gonna cover everything that we need. So I'm gonna check real quick that since I haven't done any testing, that has bought any upgrades, so we can just reset. And I'll just check this is still working correctly too. Oh, interesting. The transmuted raccoon is there. That's why we test. Is it because I didn't save? I didn't expect that to happen. Huh. Yeah, I really did not expect that to happen. Let's see if I do that again. If the raccoon's still there. He's not. Yeah, I don't know why he was there. I guess maybe I didn't save, so it used a cache version of the level that still had him sitting there. Who knows? So let's see how crazy the game is. So the goal is that we want to teach the player that single target damage is stronger. So we'll assume they figured out this part where they need to run around and get it. Might make the tutorial thing too. I think people on the team have been asking for it, and they haven't really got how easy it is, but it hasn't been as necessary for me to do my job. Oh yeah, we were gonna fix it too. One thing that was like on our list of things to do was to fix whether or not the monster should attack you. And I thought about trying one thing where we would make them not attack you if there were too few towers. So you could definitely kite here, but I really don't want kiting to be like a necessity of the game, right? Where like maybe I do this and then I like stop them from running at the thing. And so if you can get 2 towers up here, you're doing pretty well, but things are spawning just like maybe a little bit too fast. Because if you're taking damage here, then by the time the raccoon gets here, you're gonna be so toasted. So, but again, if you're kind of playing right, you should be able to get to 3, maybe 4 towers by the time he makes it all the way to the base. You can see here he comes, and we're gonna see just how nasty this guy is. And so you can see, even if I picked up all the premium materia, I'm only going to get 14. So I think I really want you to beat this altered raccoon, pretty hands down. You can see we only got him to about half health. So I think if I more than half his health, it could be good. So maybe I half his health, I reduce the number of monsters coming in at this stage, and that should be good. And also have them do a quick check to see if there's no tower, so you can't just like, you don't get stuck like this, right? And think that like the point of the game is like, I don't know, to like build a tower and like run around with it or something, right? So you do like this, and like theoretically you could beat the stage like this if you did it just perfectly, but I don't really want anybody to beat the stage. I don't think that's fun or interesting. It takes forever. So, yeah, definitely don't want people to think like this is how they should be playing the game, so I need to stop it. Maybe if there's no attackable tower, maybe if there's even one tower here, like who cares if they go and attack it first? But maybe if there's like only one, if there's no attackable towers, you'll do it. So if you pick up your last tower, like they won't chase you. They'll go to the base. Your towers aren't supposed to take damage when you're carrying them, but they definitely can. So let us go figure this out. Hey, Madison, Catherine, and Christoph. Welcome to the stream. Okay, so let's do the things that we just talked about. So to half the enemy health, all we need to do is go in here. We need to go to the altered raccoon, right? And we can bring his base health down. Oh wow, he only has 2,000 health. That's kind of surprising. So if we bring him down to 1,000, that'll give him only 5 times the health of these guys. Maybe we bring these guys like under 150 so they die in 3 shots. I'm trying to think, is it more fun to have like a few of them that you kind of kill, or kind of maintain the current rate of the monsters and you just kind of kill them faster? To be honest, we could bring their health down to 175 and not bring their health down much, and they'd still die in 3 shots to the magic towers. Wait, do they die in 3 shots? No, they don't. Oh wait, maybe they do. 1 second. I wasn't really paying that close attention, but 67 times 3 is 201. Yeah, so they currently die in 3 shots to the magic tower already. So we'd have to make it so they die in 2 shots. So we'd have to bring their health down quite significantly to make them die in less shots. In general, I'm kind of thinking like more monsters is more fun, and we have the performance for it. So I think maybe we should kind of go around that. So yeah, maybe we do bring it down enough. So 67 times 2 is equal to 134. So if we gave them like 130 health, they would die in 2 shots, and then we could increase. Oh, but then they'll never make it, which is kind of like boring too. I'd kind of like these guys to like make it so people realize that taking damage and towers dying aren't the end of the world. But maybe I don't have to teach you that here. Maybe I can teach you that all the way on the dog skulls level. The rats we're definitely going to want to have like low HP and summon a lot of them, because we want to encourage you to build AoE towers before the boss comes, which you'll need the AoE towers to win. We do feel like we have quite a few. Maybe 200 is the perfect number for these guys. And then instead, we just reduce just ever so slightly here how many we have coming in. I think like that could be like 8. And the 10 spread's probably pretty good. And this should be like a significant easier experience, right? Sometimes I like to just replay the scenarios because players will do this too, and if there's something annoying about it, it's gonna become obvious. Am I like picking up a coin right off the bat? Or do I start with 2 coins now? I might have just not be seeing it. I think there's like one like close to the base that we're trying to convince you, and maybe I'm just not paying close enough attention to see it. So I got a little bit more wood here. Wait a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, these guys are taking like 6 shots to kill. Do I have like difficulty turned on? That could be true. Let me see here. Oh, I do. Oh no, I balanced against this being on the 2nd level of difficulty. Oh no, no wonder the game has seemed so hard for me versus everyone else when I'm like, why do people seem to die? Yeah, there is a coin right here. So I had that difficulty mode there, mostly so I can try things like a little bit faster. If I wanted to, you know, try doubling the damage of the towers and things like that. And it's kind of the beginning of the difficulty system that I want to give to players to like let them have more challenging scenarios, especially on the early levels, which are going to become, you know, trivially weak here pretty soon. So now I think that like maybe I even like turn the monsters back up in terms of number again, right? Because they're gonna do like they're not gonna get close at all. Like I could have quite a few more enemies coming here. Without any risk that they're going to get anywhere close, even if you don't place them right next to each other, which I think is like the best play. So that Ultra Raccoon also had the same increase in health. So like so that's kind of like one thing to keep in mind. It's like this guy's gonna be way weaker now. So he's gonna get to a tower and he's gonna die. And if you have 3 towers, you're just gonna instantly like beat him. So I think maybe increasing his health again and letting him do a little bit of damage to a tower could be good. But then you'll be able to get this, and then you're gonna get the augments, and they're kind of busted. So, you know, if you got that one, for example, against these guys, like it's so absolutely busted because it's like 50% slow. So like they stand no chance. Yeah, even this guy, right, who's at like significantly higher health, right, like dies trivially. And if I was playing perfectly, I'd have quite a few more towers right now. I think I'd have, you know, 2 more towers. And if I'm a player, I'm probably like starting to mix up the kind of towers that I have. Come and get the wood that I missed. Coming back. I'm like, that tower seems cool. It has higher range. Let me like do this. This guy's coming out. He attacks when he's outside of range, which is not great. He's just making a sound. Oh, and he's hitting AoE right now. Look at how big his AoE is. He just like destroyed these 2 towers. Wait, how did he even do that? So now he's just dealing damage to the home building. And he's rough. He's really powerful. But he at one point, I think, was like the second or third boss. So I need to do that. Oh, I got the augment. Was I just blind? Again. I wasn't paying close attention. But this is good because we can guarantee that, like, this guy's ability isn't just, like, wrecking us. But... Okay, so we're gonna need to look at his ultimate ability. I think previously we didn't notice it because he was kind of like actually too weak of a boss, so he would die really, really fast. So let us look here and think about balancing this guy. This guy can have his health increased again. Because even this guy on 3 towers was getting wrecked. Oh yeah, and he has 2,000 health. So that gives us a good hint that 2,000 health was actually kind of the right guesstimate there, and that this guy might want a little bit more health to make it all the way to the tower. I feel like if maybe he had 3,000, that's like what? $15 more shots from the towers. So, and the towers attack pretty fast right now. So it wouldn't be that many more seconds that he would get to live. But we can know exactly how many seconds if we go look at the power attributes that would allow him to live inside of range. Remember, he has to be inside of range too. And I think they're 1 a second, yeah. So you need 15 more shots. If there are 3 towers, that's 5 more seconds. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I think he only does he does 2 attacks per second, so he does 14 damage per second. So that even if he got on a tower, he's not gonna live long enough to destroy it, which is pretty good. He'll get it low, and so that might teach you to like start to kite your towers. So I think that this is relatively good for the strength of things. This guy's base health may be ridiculous, but we were talking about giving him negative armor, so I'm not as worried about that. And that also means that, like, kind of with this experience, we can kind of, like, speed us back up. So I think I'm going to do, like, 6 and 8. Right? So you get a little bit more enemies to try and fight. And as long as you get 3 towers down, you're going to have absolutely no problem. I feel like by the time wave 2 starts, we should be able to take a lot more. And yeah, I was right. I was like, I kind of feel like wave 2 is weaker, and it is. So this should probably... Oh no, there's 2 more waves, so... This is just the boss, so he can spawn from any direction. It's really not that big of a deal. We can start to, like, altered raccoon wave, right? Because the boss is going to spawn right off the bat when this wave starts. And then you're going to kind of be waiting for the next wave. I think like 2 waves fully spawning may feel like a little bit better and may not be as crazy. But let's do some boss check-in and see how does this boss's attack work. So he's no longer the second boss, he's the first boss of the grasslands. And when he attacks and he calls Wiggle. And what does Wiggle do? Wiggle does an animation. When the animation if you haven't done enough wiggles, then you do that. And every time you wiggle, you do an attack. So we activate the attack. And the attack that we're activating is this attack damage over time ability right here. So you can see here, here's the attack. It applies an ignite and a poison to enemies. And if we edited it, we could see exactly how it works. So it spawns a Niagara system where the owner's at, and then it does an AoE attack, which is supposed to have a radius of 650, it looks like. It's the owner of this, which should be an enemy. Oh, yep, this is wrong. So what this does is it looks at the enemy that you're aggroed to, and then it draws a circle around it. And since it doesn't check to make sure that the boss is in range at all before it does the attack, it will just it will always like hit its thing. So so the problem is that we're the ability's on the tower, right? But the AoE is on the boss, right? But now we need to make a decision. Like, do we want the AoE to be around the tower, or do we want the AoE to be around the boss? Like, is the boss like kind of like acting like a mushroom and going whoosh, and dealing damage around itself? Or is it like maybe like lobbing a mushroom at like an area and that like mushroom's exploding in a cloud? I kind of like the idea that it's around itself. I can use paint to explain why. So like, let's say you have like a tower, you know, you have like 3 towers next to each other like this or something, right? If he attacks like the closest thing and then the circle's drawn, right? Like it's gonna hit like quite a bit of stuff usually, right? Whereas if it's his person, you have to wait till he actually gets to the tower, and then it'll draw around him, and so it may miss some towers. So so I think that that's like a little bit easier as a first boss to kind of deal with. I almost want the first boss not to have too much of this, because this kind of plays around with like, okay, you want single target tower damage to beat this guy, and you want to like spread your base apart to beat the guy. I wonder if I want to simplify it even more because it is the first boss. do want it to provide some threat. But do I care if your towers are kind of spread apart? Because then you kind of like want to push them again closer together for the rat boss, I think. The rat king. No, bosses should be special. You're already like dealing with the mini bosses who are just like single target basic things. We definitely want these bosses to feel unique. If it's too lame, then you may get bored of the game before you even get there. So like, let's make it be around this. Let's see how many things use the AoE attack. So I can right click on anything, find references, and then just let it run. Just basic AoE attack, just that is annoying. Let's see where this is used. I see. So the problem that I don't like about how we've done this, right? Like, one, in general, like using the word basic is, and then have like using the word basic and then having another function that just does the AoE attack, I think is insane, right? Like, and really, like, this is like AoE attack, like attack the target of the enemy, right? And so I think what I really want to do is yeah, and people didn't leave any information on like what this means, right? So let's go ahead and do a few things. One is like, this is like target, right? So it attacks the target, and what it does is like looks at the enemy's target and does damage in the radius, or does and applies gameplay effects in the radius, which is, you know, if this was here now, like the nice thing about that is like when you look here, you know, you could know that there's that problem, right? Like instantly, like, oh crap, like this is a radius around the target, right? But really what I want is a radius around the and I guess we called them target attacks, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that too. AoE, and then I'm gonna use my thing where I actually put the space because I was noticing that it doesn't look quite right. And then this is going to be like basic AoE target attack. Like, I wonder if the range is like the same thing. Like, I don't get the double layer here, you know? And like, this is insane, right here. Get the first actor. Like, if there are multiple bosses, like, this is not gonna work, right? So like yeah, some of this code is just doesn't work quite right. So we'll fix it. To try not to drive people crazy here. So this would have caused like so much confusion when like AoE attacks happen from other bosses, which probably is what was leading to one of our bugs that we were seeing the other day, where like it just seemed like randomly the boss got infinite range, and my guess is somebody made an enemy a boss accidentally, and it like read that instead on the map. And so like this should generally work. It's kind of still weird code, but I'm not gonna worry about it too much. Is a lot happening here on attacks? Like I almost feel like this is like super duper overkill for what we're trying to do. But I don't want to like go in and start changing things. So because here we could just like do the line trace and stuff like on the boss, and you could like see what the boss is doing without having to know about like how the components were working. But then you might like end up like repeating a lot of code. I'm also curious if anybody else uses this one. Yeah, somebody uses this one, yeah. And so this is almost certainly the problem that was causing it with the cactus bunny and everything. How much code do I want to clean up versus how much do I just want to like move quickly? Because like one of the crazy things too about like this kind of like activating of the attack, like it happens from the location of the owner, right? Which like might not always be the case. You might want like the attack to like appear on the target. So we might want like a select thing that would like select whether or not we get the actor's location or we select the target's location. Or even create like two, like on attack Niagara, like spawn on self, on attack Niagara, spawn on target. And then you just like don't select one on yourself if you don't want to spawn it. How would I like to go about fixing this? Or thinking about this? Like I really like this kind of, like having access to this kind of code. But am I just gonna actually go and make like another AoE type thing here? I could just create a new attack for... for the big elephant-like monster. I think that's what I'll do. And then I'll only put things in here that I think like other people might like want, and I'll think a little bit closer about the naming. I think that's where we like got ourselves into more trouble. Is like really we shouldn't. We probably don't want to be reusing this as often, right? Like really what we want to do is put reusable code in here, and then each individual attack can do it. That way you can just see from the attack itself, like everything that it might want to do. And I think that might be a little bit easier for people to wrap their head around, right? And so like what that means is we're going to make like this thing off like the BPC attack. Yeah, you can see here. Yeah, people are kind of thinking about it, right? But I don't really want to like reuse abilities as much. So like we might as well just say what the attack's for, right? And so like this would be like BPC Tapier. Kind of like poison stomp, right? Is like really what this kind of ability is trying to be, right? And that will help me like change the ability itself without like changing a ton. Like this is why inheritance, in my opinion, is like kind of bad in games too much, right? Is like you don't want to inherit too much, because think about the number of things I had to test now if I was to like go and change that, right? When really I just need some basic stuff, so I don't rewrite the basics code. But if I rewrite some specific code, like who cares? Tapier Poison Stomp. Okay. So we're basically going to take some of the code here, but some of the code we don't like. Like we like this idea of the code, right? Because we do want the particle to oh, wow. Did I really not make this on attack like the general one? That's kind of crazy. This gives me some more opportunities to change things, so that's why it's like letting me think about it a little bit more. Do we use anything in here? We don't. So like what this is, right? It's like this ability that I was setting here, but I think that like PC attack. Why is it not there? I don't know why I can't add this component yet to my... thing. Yeah, it should be there. This is probably just a bug. Sometimes you can fix that by just reopening the asset. And it'll like update this list of like actual valid ones. It did not. Did I didn't miss. Oh, because I didn't put attack in the name. Okay. So it doesn't appear because attack's not in the name, and this should fix that problem. Right. And so now we can see the attack, tapier, poison stomp, right? And so it wiggles and then it activates its attack, right? And now we're basically doing the same thing. We don't actually care about an attack target here for this one because it's just going to do an AoE around itself. Oh, yeah. So, and I think that this just reads, if we look at the previous one, yeah, we just override activate attack, right? And so you can see here that, like, this mental load that we have to do, like, it's like, I wonder if oftentimes this additional mental load versus making it separately, like, is worth it. Bum, bum, bum. So we can, like, create this variable, and we can, like, create this. So I don't think we'd ever need to use it, so it might be a little bit overkill, right? And so that'll make the particle. And then now what we really want is, like, the AoE attack, right? But we don't want to do a target attack. We want, like, we basically want this part of the code, which is nice. And, like, the crazy thing is too is that, like, we pass a target, so the fact that this is, like, coming in is, like, not the best. Like, I would kind of expect if we have this variable and I pass a target, like, it would do it, right? And this would allow you to do things like you aggro to actor, which is, like, the thing that you're, like, walking towards, and then you could, like, attack other things. You could, like, pick a random target and go boop, 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 and, like, shoot AoEs around it, right? But again, I don't want to do that yet because I really just want to get this one boss working. And I don't want to, you know, because we kind of overloaded what this thing is doing, right? Like, I'd have to test all the other bosses to make sure that, to understand what they were trying to do, like, and they'll probably have problems too. So then it's like, do I leave it broken? So I'm gonna avoid that right now. And I'm gonna start just specializing the bosses more, right? And so, like, what does this boss really want to do, right? Like, really what it wants to do is like this part, right? And I can even just ignore this, right? Which I don't think is that particularly clever. Like, this is the part that's interesting. And technically, I might even want some of this idea. But let's just take little by little. So we definitely want to do this, right? And we'll get the owner's position. I'm not really sure if the position of a component is always the same as its owner, right? So we'll do that. Right, and then we can promote this to variable, right? Which is, this is like, you know, the attack radius. And And so here we have the applied gameplay effects, and this is doing the same thing too, that like we really don't want to be doing, right? Like, because this ignite is going to be used in a bunch of places. So if someone is thinking, oh, I want to just like buff the tapir, like we set them up for failure because they figure out that this is what it is and they buff it up. But what they don't realize is that like this is also used on like a magic tower or on like an augment, right? And then they like buff an augment that they shouldn't, and then the game just like doesn't work anymore, right? So really, there's kind of two thoughts here. I could promote this to a variable, and then that would let me manage it on the boss to peer, right? But this kind of gives me a hint that like, oh, I actually kind of like want to reuse this, but I kind of want to discourage that, right? And so if I make this like a literal array like this, then like there's only kind of one spot. It's way easier to just like instantly know how this value is getting set, right? I almost even want to do it right here too, is I think maybe I was already trying to like think about it, but I think that the attack itself should hold all of this, right? And maybe even this one too, right? Like I shouldn't copy this over. It does like make the config like happen right here like a lot more, but I don't think if I don't want to reuse something, I don't think I really want to configure it. Like, yeah. Because otherwise I'm trying to say like everything has to be this way, and I don't think it should or does. So here we'll have some kind of radius, right? We'll have some, gameplay effect. We can do 1, and oh, that's really interesting. It handles duration. So debuff durations have to be at least 1 second. Weird. So we make like the effect spec, right? Yeah, so we build all the effect specs up here. So that should work nicely. And then we apply the text spec to the target. Okay, that's really nice. That's a nice function, right? Because that's going to happen all the time. And so we probably don't multiply the damage at all. This is where like maybe we would want to think about something, but I don't even think that makes any sense, right? Because I think the way that it's going to pull... Yeah, this says double damage for slam. What ability am I in? Yeah. Get calculated. So it calculates the damage and then it multiplies it by that. And this is already going to be like reading damage multipliers and damage bases. So that's nice. So I almost think you don't even want the damage multiplier here. The one thing that was weird that I did not like, though, is that this damage multiplier defaults to 0. So I'm going to go change that to 1. And I'm going to go ahead and change the debuff duration to 1, too. We already, like, kind of forced this to be 1, which is weird. I wish somebody would have left a comment here. So I'll say, like, why do we do this? Because somebody might think that they can like apply a debuff for half a second. I mean, theoretically, you shouldn't really be doing that. But whatever. There might be like a divide by 0 problem that we're trying to solve. Like maybe Like maybe a divide by 0 problem. And so we're trying to ensure that this number isn't 0, right? But there's that. So now, this can run on self. That's fine. Target's a misnomer there. And then just like the duration we want the buff to be, which is also kind of strange too, because we could just like set the gameplay effect to have that debuff duration. But I guess if we set the effect of the debuff duration, if we ever wanted to code something that was like boss debuffs have like 50% less effect on your towers, right? Like if we weren't listening to this debuff duration, we wouldn't have that, right? And so now really what we need here is like the gameplay effect that we need. And so we're going to go ahead and create a new one. And play around with that there. So we'll go here. We're going to go ahead and create a new gameplay effect. Call this GE, right? And then we're going to call this like GE to appear. Poison Stomp, right? And like this will be like in S to appear Poison Stomp. Right. And oops, I misspelled that there. Now the nice thing is like once you're linking about Poison Stomp, now you can instantly kind of tell what's going on here. Note that if you ever get this, you just have to close this again and then like reopen it. Oops. And it'll be the full thing. So sometimes if you don't change anything in the event graph, then the second time you kind of open it, it'll look like this. So it's definitely going to have a duration, right? And its duration magnitude is going to be set by caller. And this is going to be that like debuff duration. And this I don't like this, right? I don't like that there's two. Now I need to go see which one people are setting in that specific instance. Right, I had to go in here and I had to see. Oh, okay, that makes sense. So they're probably using the debuffs in the sense of like, oh, this is like a thing where attributes are like the attributes of the monster, right? To try to get people to like not stack up. I'm not sure if that's great, but that's good. So it'll be whatever the debuff thing is, and then what do I want to do for the gameplay effect? So there's this nice debuff damage set by caller. Oh, and it already will read the debuff's basic damage. That is pretty cool. So I think I just need to do the same thing here. I'm imagining I changed the current health, right? Yeah, and I just add custom class modifier. And then I can say, like, based on that, like, what do I really want to happen? And how do we actually calculate that in the boss attack? So we come in here. The damage amount is based off the damage of the enemy. This is nice if things only have one attack, right? Because it just reads, you know, it's just going to read this value, right? And it's going to like apply it correctly. But I'm somebody else, and I'm like, I'm gonna affect what the boss attack does. You're gonna come here, and you're gonna be like, how does this work, right? You're definitely gonna get here, but maybe I don't care about this. Maybe I just set the value. It does make it harder, like, to make higher difficulties do damage. Yeah, so I kind of need to do the... I do need to kind of calculate it off this, because this will, like, make it so it'll... Is debuff damage? Is there, like, a debuff damage? Yeah. Okay, this will work then. And then we probably want to make the period in this match, so like the damage that like each attack does like will equal here. So if this ticks like, for example, every 0.25, and we make this coefficient every 2.5, yeah, then we don't check this. But I think that's pretty good. And then we could say like, maybe towers can only have one. Then what we're really saying is like, whatever damage that is like how much it'll happen. Oh, but that's only if it's a 1 second, right? And we'll probably have it be multiple seconds. So I guess this will at least be its DPS, right? Which might be a little bit more easier on the brain to think about. So this will make sure that that basic damage ultimately equals the DPS that it does. And I don't think we want it to allow it to stack. But it could kind of be nice because like it hits once, you remove it, it hits again. And then we like make you drop the poison tower, which has the same effect. That's kind of cool. I think we just let you stack infinitely. We don't want it to reset. And when it runs out of time, we want to clear the entire stack, right? We don't care about overflow. So now it'll come over here. It'll apply this debuff at the base damage, which is a lot better. We just need to go to the tapir spawn here, and we'll give it its own poison stomp type thing. I think 5 seconds is fine. And now when we look at the enemy balance throw, we say how much damage a second we want it to do, and remembering that it stacks up over time if you don't get it out of the way. And this encourages you to like pick your towers up and move them away from the boss too, which is kind of like a fun thing, even if it's completely unnecessary to beat the boss. So I think that that's pretty fun. And so now we do that. And I think I'll just go to test Sean because I just want to test this enemy now. So I don't want to like play through the entire game. So I can do that quickly, like by coming over here. Getting rid of just other things that don't need to be on the map right now, and getting the up here long legs. He does appear to be damaging it. Oh, I also have apparently a wave here, which test Sean wave. DT wave. I didn't. Oh no, there it is. DT test Sean. That's probably it. Yeah, you can see that it's trying to spawn those, so I can do that. Check out, and then I can rename this to right, and then that will be nicer in the future. And you can see that it takes damage. And the damage starts to like ramp up the longer it's kind of been applying. And it feels like the damage is decent. So there's some other nice things we can do too, where we can let it take some damage. Oh yeah, we can also test that it is in fact doing an AoE around itself. And hopefully... Ah, man. Yeah, something's wrong with our pickup code again. I want to pick up this one. It seems like that's the one I'm closest to, and then I'm not. But theoretically, if I leave... Yeah, you can see if I leave, then like it stops taking damage. And yeah, I picked up like a really strange one. Oh, that's right, because you can't pick up... You can't pick up a tower that's been attacked recently. Sweet. So that's pretty good. Let's get the particle back on. Hmm. The fireness of it is kind of strange. I like the mushroom part of it, but are the mushrooms not compiled too? Or are they just so dark? They might need to be like marked as unlit so they don't get shadowed as much, but I'm not sure. I mean, even on this stage, something's wrong with the lighting anyway, so it's not a great one. I need to switch my lighting back over so I can see what it actually looks like on the actual map. You can see my character is much darker on the stage too. And yeah, so it seems to be looking right. Let us... the nice thing too is like I can turn this on just for my character now too, without like accidentally flipping this and it being for everybody. Oh, the radius here is 0. I'm actually kind of surprised I hit anybody ever, but we probably want it to be 500. Oh, and it could also be too that my damage isn't working because it might still be using this old one, which we don't want anymore. Oh, well, no, it can't be the old one because that one doesn't have an activated attack. So now we can see that that's like what 500 would be. So we probably want more like 550, 575 to kind of get the effect that we want. Ooh, the fact that it's hitting like multiple things is quite interesting too. I wonder if it can like multi-hit things accidentally because of that. Maybe we want something like, let's try 600. So maybe more like 650. Maybe we'll try 675. Because what I'd love to do is, like, if you're on the grid space right next to it, you're basically hit. But if you spread things out ever so slightly, then you don't get hit. So this is pretty good. It hits these two, right? But then it doesn't hit this one. So, like, building towers like this, like... will lead to you not getting hit in a lot of scenarios. I think I might want you to even get me here too. And I have like the affordance with the like visuals that like it kind of feels like you should be getting hit right now. So, which is probably like closer to like 750. The worry that I have is like even with a spot between you, there's kind of like a perfect radius here. Whereas if you had a spot between you, like it, you might still get hit if I go too crazy. So like, I want you to get hit like this, but I'd rather you not get hit if you were like right here. Okay, cool. So that's pretty good. So now like it's kind of like we can kind of know that that's like the amount that you need to be, and you'll still get hit. And you can see that next one got hit too as soon as it moved forward just ever so slightly. So this is the perfect amount. And so we leave a comment here that like 750 is great because it makes everyone touching you, even diagonally, get hit. But if there is a space, you do not get hit. That way someone's not like, it doesn't like match the particle just right. Let me like change it or something. And then they end up breaking it, right? Or they change the particle because they want it to look differently and they don't think it matches anymore. We let people know that 750 is important. And then one thing that we can do is we can come into this boss. We can tell him that his... we can't tell him that his attack range is 75, right? So, but we do want to tell him, like, if you're not within 750 of somebody, like, do not, like, don't do the entire attack, right? It's like, Git is in range. So we can then get aggro to actor. We'll convert this to a validated get. Right? And really what we'll... Oh, no. This number needs to be matched with that other number. I don't really want to be passing these values back and forth, but they need to stay in sync. Oh, I know how I can do it. Okay. So we're going to promote this to variable. Right. That's fine. It can be called radius. And then we don't need that. We don't need that comment anymore. Maybe we call this like poison radius, so it's a little bit more obvious exactly what it is. This will by default be 750, right? And what we can do now is we can get this, and we can get its poison radius. And then say distance squared. I don't know if this really matters, but I think it looks prettier this way. And then we say if this is less than or equal to, then we can attack. So now we won't attack, we don't have a valid target. And also that valid target that we're after needs to be within 750, and then only then we'll attack, so he won't just go rah, rah, from the second he spawns, right? He'll need to get in range, and then he'll do rar. It'll make it a little bit more clear to the player what's happening, and then he'll do his wiggle. Right. So, yeah, you can see he's no longer going rar. If I give him something, he'll want to attack it. Huh. What is going on here? Okay, there we go. He finally tried to do his attack. Duh. This has to be squared. So square's nice because you don't have to do a square root, and so it's a lot faster. So anytime you can do this, you can just square stuff, and it'll be correct. That is definitely what was causing the problem. So we'll wait till he's in range, and once he's in range and his timer comes up again, he will do a scream. So big gains there. We just tell people now, like, only attack when in range. And I wonder, do bosses just have like a attack speed or something maybe? Oh yeah, they have an attacks per second, so. Which will come from here. I thought, maybe not. Oh, time in between boss attacks, so. First second seems kind of long for the tip here. So I think I'll like take him down to 3. Just so he feels like a little bit more responsive. Okay, so we set the wiggle speed. So if we left a little bit of thing here saying like, determines how quickly the animation happens over 1 second. Happens. Takes 1 second. 2 would take 0.5 seconds and be faster. 0.25. 0.25 would take 4 seconds and be slower. So now people will know what that is without having to go into the actual thing. because they could just click here, and they will get that now. And doing pretty good, piano guy. So what do we need to do left on this boss? Basically just the negative armor, I think, and I think we'll have everything that we want. I guess we should test the 3-second change in unintended side effect, like just running past so fast that I didn't expect. Okay, it does do quite a bit of damage, so now we can lower its damage down. It does seem a lot more deadly, but it does seem maybe like it's a little bit too fast for a monster that size. I'd also like to get some kind of a vamp style effect here. You can see that it does damage to the home base, but it won't do its boss attack against the home base, which is probably correct. I think that we don't want bosses to do it, because if this clears you and we have enemies spawning all the time, the enemies will do the job of finishing the home base for us. And it allows us to have like big AoEs on bosses that are like kind of destroying your towers, which is really what the point of bosses is. Not to like destroy your home base in like 2 seconds. The only thing we're gonna need to watch out for, I think, is the final boss. Because theoretically you could take so long on the final boss that enemies stop spawning, then the boss could kill your towers, and then you would kind of get stuck in this weird position, something like this, where you had to like wait, 3,000 seconds or whatever. Oh, it does hit the tower though. You can see here that this clearly like will actually poison the tower. Oh, now it's just fine to do the poison. Maybe just home bases are so big too often that like the distance between the center of him and here is too much. So that'll be something to keep in mind if we ever make a really large tower. It's gonna really struggle with it. So let's talk about gameplay cues and how those work. Gameplay cues are nice things that can happen when an ability effect occurs or like on a persistent ability. So we can look at Ignite as a good example. It has a gameplay cue that is GC burning, right? And there'll be a GC burning that we've made, and this will it'll kind of apply this actor as long as it's relevant, and this Niagara effect will happen, right? So I wonder if we ever made poison, because we do have Okay, we do have GC poisoned, right? And that looks pretty good. So now all I need to do is do gameplay Q poisoned on my poison stomp here. And the poison needs to succeed. So like that way, if you had poison resistance, you'd see the gameplay queue stop, which would help you know that it was working. And we would just, all we need here is theoretically poisoned. Oh, I can like Q magnitude this too. Oh, that's sad though. It'd be really cool here if I had like if I had the gameplay effect stack count or whatever. That would be pretty good. I might even have it in there, and it might be possible, because then I can make it spawn more bubbles the more and more poison you get. But this should just work now, right? Luckily all that's set up. So now when this thing gets poisoned by this, it'll start having poison bubbles around it. So, and then when it dies, it'll have little poison bubbles, which is cute. And now negative armor, which theoretically should be in the enemy balance props. It's armor, and what we can do is we can make it take more damage from towers. So by default, the spiked tower is dealing like 7 damage. So if I gave it -3 armor, then the spiked tower should hit it for 10 damage, and the magic tower will hit it for 7. So it won't. Yep, perfect, right? And you can see that there's a little shield there. I'd like to like make a little broken shield or like a little red shield, but I need I'll need my artist to like make a little quick one for me. But that'll hopefully be, if somebody named it right, WP armor. Maybe it'll just be in health. No damage, maybe took damage. There we go. I bet it'll be in here. There you go, shield icon. So we can see here that the shield is like this. Getting healed, no armor, just show red. Show armored. Okay, cool. Kind of weird. Oh, wow. This is a little bit rough, but we like kind of like extra pad it. I mean, I don't really need to do this. This is gonna have to be true. But I'm gonna do it just because if people want to switch around how this works, it'll make it a little bit easier. So we have negative armor. Enemies take more damage, right? And what we're gonna want to do is is I think we're gonna do red still, and we're definitely gonna show the armor text and the amount. We're also gonna set the icon here. So this old one has like this problem where it doesn't work very well. I should really get rid of that because it's just going to cause people trouble. But I've reworked it so it doesn't include a bunch of extra assets anytime you call this function. And I don't really... Shield icon. We do this defense shield UI. But this is like gray. How does it turn gray? Tint. Oh, color and opacity. So I don't think we need to do this. I'm going to try not to, because in most cases there's not going to be a lot of enemies with negative armor. Well, we'll see, I guess, but I think if I do it this way, this might just work. So actually, maybe I can just, since I don't have a broken shield, can I make literal color? Select color. I don't know. Okay, so that's what it normally looks like. And really what I want is to like kind of redify it. Oh, I see why I kind of like stopped last time, because I basically just want to do this again. I don't like this, but... So really what we're going to be saying is, like, at this point we know we have armor. So we want to set the visibility so we can see the shield icon. And before we, yeah, this will all happen in the same frame, so it doesn't matter. And then we want to, like, do this. I think this needs to be like this. So this is like handle larger armor values to do probably make the widget handle this instead. Right, and then this is like, we definitely have armor if we're down here. Have armor if we are down here. Yeah, so it gives it like a little red. It's really just like kind of a rough icon. I think the opacity or something is killing it. Let's go take a look at that. That icon just not come through very well. Nope, there's no alpha. Let's check the material to make sure it's not. Wait, what? No, it's just no. We're not playing around with opacity. Oh, maybe we do need it. Well, no, we don't need it. I don't think we need to play around with opacity here. What the hell is with this texture? That's super weird. I mean, the alpha is nice and crisp. The RGB is like not nice and crisp. That's crazy. So you can see that this is like 4 megabytes. I think what we could actually do is sample it as a mask, right? So now it's just a mask. So we only get the alpha, right, in the world of mask, and it's nice and crisp. And the real benefit of that now is I don't know. I thought it would know that I really only was using the alpha, but we're just going to set it back to user interface and just leave it alone. What did I do? What did I do? It's set to user interface, so it should be fine. I mean, I can just set it to mask. What I thought mask would do here would be like only take the alpha channels, but it looks like it takes all channels, which makes sense because sometimes you pack into all 6, so that should be fine. I don't know if it'll look better. Just make sure we're not causing a crash here. Oh yeah, this looks worse. Okay. We do get a lot cleaner, which is what I wanted, but we do get the blackness there that I did not want. Oh yeah, that's right. We wouldn't be able to tell. Oh, and that's why we were passing the opacity in. That makes so much sense. Oh, I hate this. What did I do to this? What did I do? Should be linear color. That seems so wrong. Why is it blue? Is it gonna be blue in game too? That just seems like it's not right. Okay, it's not blue in game. I don't know why it's blue in the material editor here. I'm gonna leave that alone because we're gonna get our artists to change that icon anyway, so I don't need to do a lot of adjustments to make something work that really need to. So now, yeah, you can see this bad boy does like 10 damage per shot. It has negative armor. I'd love it to say -3, but I don't see anything positive on that. Let me go see if I give it positive armor if a number appears. There appears to be code for it, but I don't think I've ever seen it pop up, but I'm not sure anyone has bothered. Your long leaves. Let's give it like a larger number so it might be easier to see. It does not. Okay. Well, let's fix that bug while we're here too. WBP took damage. Armor amount text. So where is it even? Oh man. Definitely didn't work before either. Oh, and it's like this like strange color too. Hmm. Like, this idea of like negative padding and stuff is a bit insane. Like, really what we'd want to do is like you could do an overlay in here and like that would look a lot better, I think. um, right, and so you can see what they're trying to put in here. Oh, is it like behind? What? Oh no. So we could like take some cues from here, hopefully, and start to see. You know, maybe like what things look like. Yeah, I think that this just hasn't shown ever, right? It should be here. It should be visible. Um, it's not. Should say 6 or something. So you should fill the display every time we hit compile. That should add this in. Oh, there's also probably this problem too. Does this like add stuff? It does not. Okay, cool. So sometimes when it adds, you have to make sure you clear your stuff, but we're not adding any, so it should be okay. Let's give some randomness to it, which is fine. But why this doesn't work is beyond me. But we're going to just start fixing some stuff. So if we wrap this with an overlay, like not too much things are going to change here. We can like bring the armor amount into the overlay. Right? And then we can like set it to 0 and make sure that it's centered. Is there like an opacity maybe value here that is like screwing us up? Skew amount, later saving size. Oh, is it the color? we zoom in, we might get a better picture of what the person was trying to do. Huh. You can jump between like two. So armor amount's not equal to red, so it has to go down here and set the armor value to not collapsed. Oh, if damage is... Oh, damn. Damage needs to be negative. Okay, that's fine. Damage doesn't need to be negative here. So we definitely jump down here. We're not going to hit equal, so we're going to hit unequal. So this should run. Like... Let me make sure we like call this manually on its own. Yeah, this should not be collapsed. I mean, the easiest thing I think might be to be like, make it just white. So that's got high contrast. Check and see if this works in the game at all. Yeah, there's no number on it. We need to get rid of some additional padding. Oh, this is good. Access none. Oh yeah, because this surely isn't gonna work now. Maybe this is what's killing us. Nope. So one thing we could do is like get this text and paste it in here and see if it appears, right? And it doesn't appear, which gives us like a hint. As to what's going on here. Oh, well, there's nothing in it, so. Okay, yeah, so it could be So what I'm doing is I'm looking at these settings over here. I mean, this has an outline size of 3. To try to see what settings are different between the two of these. And if there's no difference here, render opacity right here. Whatever it's supposed to be. There you go. Now the number's back. Okay. I don't even know what colors I want this to be. Maybe I just like make it gray. So like a 0.1, 0.1, 0.1 or something. It doesn't hang around long enough to like read it. I think I might want to like make it hang around a little bit longer. But you can tell that it's right there now. And I think I want this color to be like a little bit brighter too. I'm also kind of curious because the damage here isn't red anymore. Like if I've messed something up. Wait, the shield icon would also have the thing? This now needs to be the overlay. We're going to call that shielding overlay. We're going to make it a variable. I don't think that's going to really... Okay, pretty good. And what I don't like is that the colors are not high contrast enough, so... Like, it could be gray, but it can't be so gray that we can't read it. And... that's fine, I think. The other interesting thing is I think it's keeping the oh yeah, it definitely is, right? We probably don't want it to use that material instance that gives it like a yellow tint. I don't know why we are. Font material. Yeah, like there's no way we just want this to be I don't even think we need it, right? Like I don't know why we would use that font material. I think it's really doing is changing the color, so we can wipe that. Now the colors that we get will be like the true colors. Which will help because it'll let things be like high contrast, and it'll be the color that you select rather than the color that you select plus that, right? And this is like, really like this 0.47 color. If these colors match, right, like it'll better indicate like that's why that this color's changed too. This color's about to get real bright red, so that might have to be pulled back some. There you go. That's like a lot higher contrast. And because we changed so much, we need to do testing. Let's set the armor value to 0 to make sure that it's still red and the armor icon does not show. Yep. And let's set the armor value to negative. Hopefully we'll see -5. We do. That is awesome. The interesting thing is that the armor value doesn't change, so that's kind of neat. I really don't like how high the opacity seems to be, though, on the shield, you know. I'm not really sure what's causing that. Like, the color we're using, right, is like, yeah, 0, like 1. Like, is it just the pastel nature of it that makes it feel? Like, what if I also made the shield like super red? Is it gonna look right? Yeah, it looks a lot better. I guess it's just the pastel nature of it that makes it look kind of crazy. And now things will be kind of centered, and I can fix the last few centering issues here too. And this will make it a lot easier for people to understand what's going on. We just come in here, and this is centered, right? But as the number grows, it's gonna want to like hug the left. So you also have to not forget to set this justification too. And now that'll make sure that it like centers all the time. Right. We can like center this as well. And we can take a peek at it just to make sure it doesn't look super weird, right? And now you can see it looks like it's even more appropriately centered. So great. There's a lot of padding between the two things. I'm gonna see if I can reduce that padding now. This has no padding. This has 10 padding, which I think we could drop quite drastically. I don't know why I didn't like that. So that's gonna like bring them closer together. But we can even see here that this shield icon has a lot of stuff around it, so I think we can even say that the padding's 0. I think that's gonna be a lot better. Yeah, now the numbers are closer together. They kind of seem like it's sitting low. So I can kind of look at this. And what I want to do, right? Let me think here. What I want to do is bump this guy up a bit. We're not random padding on the X and Y, right? Maybe that's what's causing the problem. Event graph, fill display, random padding. I don't think we actually want a random pad on the Y. I think that's causing us our problem. Yeah, that looks so much cleaner. It's still maybe like a little bit lower than I would like it. But we need to double check a fast shooting tower. Yeah, so then having the random padding removed on the Y really helps sell it a lot better. Okay. So that's quite a bit better. And then I'll leave a comment here so someone's not like, who removed it? I think it looks better. No Y random padding, especially when there is armor, negative armor. You know, I'll leave that in case they're like, actually, I want to do that. All right, so this should be a lot easier for people to like play around with. I'm gonna leave a note too, be like, play around with how it looks by setting damage taken and armor amount. Right, that way people know they can do this. I don't know if the person intended it, but it does work. So we'll get, and that'll help people know that default values, that they can click on these bad boys, set the default values, right, and like get it. Because we can also, you know, if we were to do this, if my thinking's right, you know, we're gonna see it change colors, right, and we're gonna see like how it looks and how it's gonna spawn. So overall, what we did today, we got the level 1 balance pretty good. We got the armor value and the negative armor balanced pretty well. What's left to kind of do is like see how strong this guy is. We fixed his attack so he attacks more correctly, and he adds like poison values to it, and that should all be pretty good. Tomorrow we'll work on kind of the second batch of waves with the rat, I think. And then we'll do the wolf, and that should be pretty solid. But thank you anybody for watching. But gotta head off, and we're gonna go to our team meeting here in 5 minutes. So I'm gonna go chat with everybody else and show them what got done for the week. I encourage you to, you know, follow, subscribe, or whatever it is on the platform that you're doing, and I hope that it's been useful for you. I encourage you to make your own games, and you know, I stream every day. If you ever have any questions about Unreal, feel free to pop in, and if I know the answer, I'd be happy to give it to you. So wish you the best of luck in your game development journey, and see you tomorrow.